What is up, guys? Welcome to Cerny Gaming. I hope you're all having a great time on your adventures in Elden Ring so far. If you want to help support the channel, then don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, drop your questions into the comment section below, and keep your eyes open for the announcement of our brand new Cerny Gaming website in the near future. Today, we are going to be talking about Maliketh, the Black Blade, formerly the Beast Clergyman. This fearsome opponent is incredibly difficult to contend with, having a variety of highly punishing attacks with devastating direct damage on top of a horrible damage over time effect as well. Not only that, but the subsidiary effect of these brutal attacks will leave you with a substantially smaller health pool, so you won't even be able to heal up fully either. So first, let's talk about the first phase. The Beast Clergyman utilizes abilities from the Beast Incantation School of Faith Magic, summoning the earth in various forms to assail you with often very little telegraphing. He can throw boulders and spike clusters at you, send beast claws rocketing through the ground in any direction, and create great earth-shattering AoE quakes that deal damage in multiple waves. Using your spirit summon as soon as you enter the arena will allow them to take aggro, leaving you with ample opportunity to position yourself behind the boss to get valuable heavy attacks in. Our strategy though uses the Swarm of Flies blood incantation to bleed the boss out very efficiently, and the tracking on this spell makes this an easy job to accomplish. We stay at range and fire these out to harass the boss and cause him to lose massive chunks of health very rapidly. When the boss hits 50% health though, he will transform from the Beast Clergyman to Maliketh the Black Blade. The life-stealing attacks of his sword really are remarkably punishing and come in wide, sweeping blows that are often very difficult to avoid. Not only that, but Maliketh can follow up on his attack combos with devastating AoE abilities, causing many slashing blades to appear in a large area in front of him, or the earth beneath him do rupture after he slammed his blade into it. It's easy to think that staying at range will save you here, but that's only half true. Maliketh is incredibly fast and mobile, making use of the pillars in the room to jump attack you or assail you with combos of 3 to 5 fast moving, poorly telegraphed attacks that will cause huge amounts of damage. Your spirit summon is incredibly valuable for taking some aggro, but the sheer brutality of Maliketh's attacks make it difficult for your summon to stay alive. We're going to be using Black Knife Tish for this because our approach here is basically a DPS match and she pulls a lot of damage in her own right. We have to damage Maliketh quickly and efficiently to avoid his ire and put him in the ground for good. So, strategy. When you enter the arena, summon Tish and avoid the boss's initial attacks. If you're lucky, Tish will hit the boss with her Ash of War to open the fight, which will have a similar effect on him as Maliketh's attacks have on you, so we're leaning into that and fighting fire with fire here. Position yourself safely away from the boss using the pillars for cover and start laying into him with Swarm of Flies. You'll be able to fire off a good few of these before the first one even connects, and they have great tracking, meaning you can deal a lot of damage from bleed procs before he even turns his attention to you. Make the most of this and get as many in as possible. When the boss enters his second phase, which should happen quite swiftly, you'll need to start slightly more defensively. Get some distance between you and the boss to try to avoid that initial combo and get your spirit summon to take some aggro. As soon as you have an opening, it's time to start casting your swarm once again. This boss should take massive chunks of damage incredibly quickly since he doesn't have much health and doesn't have much resistances, and you only need to deal with this brutal form for half of the fight. If you are a sorcerer, you can easily replace Swarm of Flies with something that has more upfront damage. I strongly recommend Rock Sling for this, since it deals nice damage, has great tracking, and most importantly, deals fantastic poise damage. If you decide to go for a melee approach, then you may be in for a bit of a rough ride. Maliketh has a varied and highly punishing move pool on top of high mobility, but with a few tricks you can certainly get the job done. First, make use of your spirit summon, but do not rely on them. Maliketh's aggro is very easily swayed from proximity alone, and he does not require an attack to turn his fury to you instead of your summon. Be careful, let your summon take aggro, but stay on guard for stray attacks that come your way instead. Be sure to two-hand your weapon if you're going melee. A shield will not save you from the stacks of that brutal damage over time effect, and your only salvation is kiting expert dodging and making the most of what windows come up to deal as much damage as possible in a single hit. Jump attacks and fully charged heavy attacks are great if you can find the opening, because they'll deal nice poise damage on top of their raw damage as well. If you're going melee, consider getting a hold of the Blasphemous Claw. This special item can be activated from your hotbar and operates as a parry against certain melee attacks from Maliketh. I prefer not to use this myself, not least because I am just terrible at parrying, but also because Maliketh is not an easy creature to parry anyway, and the sacrifice for incorrect timing is far too great. If you're good at parrying and want to fight melee, then this can help immensely, but be warned, only melee sword attacks that glow white first can be parried. Whichever strategy you adopt, when you finally put Maliketh down, you'll be able to make use of the really amazing Maliketh's Black Blade or Black Blade Incantation on top of a hefty 220,000 runes, which is nothing to be sniffed at. Congratulations, you can now go on to the final area. We're going to take a look at the full video now so that you can see how it's done in action. This is by no means a smooth run, because if you're used to the franchise, you'll know that in every game there's always just that one boss that is just the bane of your playstyle, and this is mine. But I get the job done nicely nonetheless, which goes to show that persistence, learning and outright stubbornness will see you through the game, so don't give up. Enjoy.
Become my blade once more.
of death is unbound. And the lands between are shrouded by death's dark fate. But the flames will also burn the impenetrable thorns. Farewell it is then. You'll be Elden Lord yet.